Now I will read some of the questions and remarks we got.
Yep.
The first one is a remark by Jörg Giegler. There's a report which was released yesterday by RVO, the Netherlands Enterprise Agency, about the use of fuel cells and hydrogen in the shipping sector. It's mainly about inland shipping and barges, and it's in Dutch, but it might be of interest for everyone. So we will also send that when we send out the slides and the link for the YouTube video. Thank you, Jörg, for your remark. Another question we got was, how was the interest of Korean partners regarding the hydrogen-driven aerospace transport and urban air mobility?
So Hyundai Motors made one of their exhibition hall was filled with this UAM. I think this is interest from the NRR side, but they were hesitant to say whether this will be powered by fuel cell or battery. So I think this has not been cleared yet. But like for sure, the like for Busan Mobility and also this regional government, Chungnam, is working hard on the commercializing the hydrogen drones. So there are certainly big interest to make this hydrogen as fuel because it gives extensive range for hydrogen the drone mobility.
Thank you, Juan. The next question we have is how many hydrogen trucks are already on the road in Korea? And are they also shipped to other countries? Or is it sort of a unique partnership with Switzerland? The question is from Jörg Giegler. And he also says, I assume that production capacity is still limited for these trucks, hence my questions.
Yeah. So as far as I know, these 10 trucks shipped now, I think it's in the ocean now, somewhere, maybe in Philippines or something like that. It's shipping to Switzerland. But in Korea, as far as I know, there's no fuel cell truck yet. There are fuel cell buses made by Hyundai Motors, but these trucks are mainly before these the joint venture with Switzerland. But I think Hyundai Motors also has ambition to be providing this to other countries as well. And because according to the article I read from the press release of the Hyundai Motors, they said this is the first shipment, but they are planning to sell these trucks to Germany, the Netherlands, Austria, and Norway. So they especially pointed out these 4 countries. So I think there are some discussion with these 4 nations.
But Korean government is operating 2 trucks more than below high pumps. Okay, and the cabbage truck to Changwon City. Okay, 2 trucks.
So there are already 2 trucks operating in Korea in demonstration in Changwon City.
Thank you very much. Also, and something I forgot to mention as well in my introduction. Thank you, Jörg, for your remark as well. The EU hydrogen strategy was released yesterday, and it's an extremely ambitious plan, aiming at 6 gigawatt electrolyzer capacity in 2020 to 2024. The link is shared in the chat, but we will also share the link in our email. And maybe also some other questions. Let me see. Is there actually, because we hear about hydrogen production and transportation. Is there also a focus in the chemical industry in Korea?
Yes, we noticed that there is a big joint venture between Hyoseong and Linde to build this liquefied hydrogen plant there. And also, I mean, it's for the production, there are also some chemical plants that produces hydrogen as byproducts, so they want to use it with a fuel cell installed in their complex. So these are the interests. Yeah, because in petrochemical industry in Korea, they are also suffering very much because of due to the U.S. and China trade war and global sort of demand going down. So they hope to find new business with this hydrogen.
Thank you. We have one more question, and if I didn't ask your question, we will try to answer it in the email. I hear a lot about offshore wind and P2G. Will this be the dominant strategy in Korea or mainly SMR?
Good question. I think this is a very long-term strategy for Korea, because in Korea their offshore wind is not that not as active as the Netherlands and Northern Europe. So it's currently now planned and executed. So I think there is a long way to go to certain capacity to make it as a sort of source for a big energy source for the change to hydrogen. Currently, there are plans to build this offshore winds, and we'll see how that will be executed. First, you need to have the wind farm, but the thing is that Korea doesn't have enough wind farm. That's the problem. Yeah. But yeah, they have ambitions.
Okay, thank you very much, Juwon.
Yep.
For now, we're starting the second session, and probably some new participants have already joined the webinar. So I'd like to say a warm welcome to you. Good morning if you're in the Netherlands, and good afternoon if you're in Korea. So we've organized this webinar as a follow-up to the Hydrogen Mobility and Energy Show last week, which was actually supposed to be part of an innovation mission from the Netherlands going to Korea in March. Unfortunately, we weren't able to go. So my name is Alexandra de Vogel. I work for RVO, the Netherlands Enterprise Agency, and together with the Korean Embassy, we've organized this session. Today, we're going to hear some more about hydrogen in Korea. But first, I'd like to give the floor to my colleague from the Dutch Embassy, Juwon Lee.
Hi, for the newcomers, my name is Juwon Lee, working at the Dutch Embassy here in Korea. And now I have this invited guest from the H2 Korea, Director of Business Coordination Department, Dr. Na-Kyung Kwon, will speak about the hydrogen economy in Korea. So I'd like to welcome him, sitting right next to me. So slide will be shared soon.
Okay. Good morning. My name is Na-Kyung Kwon. Nice to meet you. Let me introduce myself. I have developed the hydrogen car in Hyundai Motor Company since 25. In particular, I worked as a leader in the development of the MEA cell stack that is the core of a hydrogen car. From 2013, I worked as a leader in the project to improve the quality of eco-friendly cars and work out to mass production NEXO. Also, I have been dispatched to Korea since October 2018. Here, I work with the government and the hydrogen company for the development of Korean hydrogen economy. I thank you for making the announcement the hydrogen energy cooperation with Netherlands and its exchange information of hydrogen industry between Korea and Netherlands. I think today's meeting will be beneficial for the development of both countries. In this regard, I will begin my presentation in the hope that the both countries will make a cooperation plan about hydrogen economy, including FCEV diffusions. I'm going to start the presentation from now on. The announcement is about Korean hydrogen economy roadmap. Okay. Yeah. First, let me introduce my Korea. HK was established by the government and the private companies to develop the hydrogen economy. HK is the organization dedicated to promotion the hydrogen industry in South Korea. It was designated by the Korean government on July 1, 2020. Its main role is to support policy development and improvements required by the hydrogen economy society, and to push forward demonstration projects by reviewing sustainable hydrogen economy business models. It also supports expansion of supply of hydrogen electric vehicles, expansion of hydrogen refueling stations, and establishment of hydrogen production and supply networks. It also supports international cooperation projects for the development of the hydrogen industry and the research and development projects necessary for public promotion and utilization of hydrogen energy. HK has 83 members, including the central government, local government, companies, research institutes, academic society, and associations. Let me explain the roadmap for Korean hydrogen economy. Moon Jae-in President in January 2019 about South Korea's hydrogen economy announced roadmap. It also declared the vision to become the world's top-class country in hydrogen economy. The Korean government divided the hydrogen economy promotion system into a three-stage by 2040. As a first step, it is a preparation process for hydrogen economy by 2022. Since 2018, the government has been making efforts to create policies to foster the hydrogen industry, expand the supply of hydrogen cars, and build hydrogen refueling stations, and create laws and systems. The foundation for entering the hydrogen society will be set up by 2022. The second step is to create a hydrogen economy by expanding the hydrogen industry. To that end, South Korea is working on projects including hydrogen cities, expansion of infrastructure from hydrogen production to storage, hydrogen ships, and hydrogen trains. By 2030, we will see models of a hydrogen economy society in South Korea. Finally, it will achieve leadership in the hydrogen economy by 2040. Green hydrogen without CO2 emissions will be mainly supplied at this time. And the necessary hydrogen is also being considered for import from abroad. Okay, so let me explain the goal of the Korean hydrogen economy roadmap. As shown in the chart, hydrogen car will produce 18,000 units per year by 2022 to 6 million, about 6 million units per year by 2040. Hydrogen refueling station will build 310 units by 2022 and 1,200 by 2040. And the fuel power generation, 2018, around 317 megawatts. Recently we have to 410 megawatts, and will be increasing to 1.5 gigawatts by 2022 and to 50 gigawatts by 2040. Calculating the hydrogen supply at liter weight required 417,000 tons by 2022 and about 5.3 million tons by 2040. Therefore, mass production and supply of hydrogen is important in the future. Currently, South Korea produces and supplies hydrogen for byproduct and LNG reforming. However, it will expand the production and of greenhouse hydrogen after 2030. In addition, South Korea is developing the water electrolytes technology and is also considering importing sufficient hydrogen from abroad in the future. Okay, South Korea is carrying out many projects in the transport and transportation sectors of hydrogen. It is also developing hydrogen cars, ships, trains, power generation, and hydrogen cities. In particular, hydrogen cars, ships, trains, and power generation are being developed with the goal of high economy and high performance. Hydrogen cars aim to produce about 100,000 units in 2025. The hydrogen fuel cell power ship aims to develop large-scale transport ship by 2030. Also, diesel train and trains are being developed as hydrogen trains. The Korean government announced its strategy for developing the future automobile industry on October 2019. The main contents of an automobile industry development strategy as follows. Of all electric vehicles, including hydrogen electric vehicles, have achieved 33% of sales share of vehicles in South Korea and set a goal of achieving 10% share in global market. In particular, the government plans to expand the lineup of hydrogen vehicles centered on SUV and large trucks, and achieving a durability of 500,000 kilometers by 2022. It also plans to lower the price of hydrogen vehicles to around 40,000 US dollars. Hyundai Motor Group presented its FCEV vision and announced a long-term roadmap for 2030. It has a set up a plan to produce 700,000 fuel cell systems by 2030, including 500,000 FCEV per year. In addition, Hyundai Motor Group said it would invest about $7 billion US by 2030 to develop FCEVs. Okay, let me introduce NEXO, which was mass-produced by Hyundai Motors in January 2018. NEXO has made many technological advanced compared to the Tucson FCEV, which was mass-produced in 2013. Compared to Tucson FCEV, output performance is improved by about 20%, and system efficiency is improved by 10%. And each increase durability and low price. It also starts at -30 degrees and can run 609 kilometers on a single charge. Then let's look at the collision safety of the NEXO hydrogen car. NEXO received the highest rating in vehicle collision safety test from Euro NCAP in 2018. The result proved that the NEXO is as safe as a luxury gasoline vehicle on the market. This is the status of development of large hydrogen cars such as truck and buses in Korea. Recently, the government has been expanding the distribution of buses in the city to hydrogen buses as part of the effort to reduce fine dust in the city center. It also plans to develop and distribute hydrogen cars to large trucks weighing more than 5 tons. Hyundai Motors has developed a hydrogen city bus and plans to distribute 35 units to 6 cities, including Seoul, by this year. The hydrogen truck was also developing and applied to coverage operating people and will be applied in China City. In addition, Hyundai Motors signed a supply contract with H2M from Switzerland for 1,600 hydrogen trucks. Okay. In addition, the expansion of the supply of hydrogen car in Korea. As you can see here, the location of refueling station is shown on the map. In the next 10 years, enough hydrogen refueling station will be built in major cities in the country, allowing FCEV driver to go to hydrogen refueling station in 20 minutes. Let me tell you about the current state of hydrogen economy in Korea. South Korea hydrogen economy operated 7,000 hydrogen cars, 15 buses, and 220 taxis in service, and 517 FCEV with export as of October 2019. Okay. Now, 39 hydrogen refueling stations have been built across the country, with about 18 hydrogen refueling stations scheduled to open by this year. Currently, fuel cell power generation has 53 plants in South Korea and produce about 764 megawatt electric power. Okay, as you can see here, Korea is specialized hydrogen industry projects such as hydrogen-rich cities, hydrogen producing clusters, R&D specific cities, and hydrogen mobility clusters. There will be more projects coming up, and by 2020, there will be a visible hydrogen society. Okay, recently the government finalized its roadmap for hydrogen technology and announced on October 31, 2019. Through the announcement of the hydrogen technology roadmap, Korean vision was to become a leading hydrogen economy by selecting world-class technology. In the slide, the Korean government 2022 investment plan to support hydrogen industry. The major investment will be about $411 million in the hydrogen powered vehicle supply and hydrogen mobility development, expansion of hydrogen implementation, development of liquid hydrogen plant, hydrogen safety, hydrogen cities infrastructure, and R&D technology development. Okay, the transition to hydrogen society has many advantages, reducing greenhouse gas emissions and improving environmental problems. South Korea will convert about 5% of its total energy in hydrogen by 2040. This could reduce greenhouse gas emissions by 27 million tons and reduce fine dust by about 2,370 tons. And also for the world to move the hydrogen economy, it takes a lot of money to expand its hydrogen infrastructure and develop long-term R&D technology. To this end, compelled by investment from the financial sectors as well as state funding. Okay, thank you for your attention.
Okay, I think we now are is open for the Q&A.
Yes, thank you very much, Dr. Kwon, for your interesting presentation. We do have some questions that popped up, so I will read them for you. The first one is from TNO. Is there a roadmap to convert existing ships to hydrogen? And is this with fuel cells or in a combustion engine?
선박에 대해서도 연료전지로 바꾸는 거에 대한 부분이
지금 기존 모든 걸 하고 이번에 선박의 그린 수소나 이런 것들을 해외에서 도입을 하려면 부족한 선박도 이제 기술 개발을 진행을 해서 2030년에는 수소 선박 건조할 예정입니다.
So according to roadmap, by 2030, this hydrogen ship will be launched in Korea. So now they're in the R&D projects to develop this hydrogen ship.
그래서 현재 그 현대자동차에 있는 그 연료전지 시스템을 단기적으로는 연한 그러니까 보트 정도 스몰십에 적용을 하고 그다음에 이제 다음 단계는 좀 큰 배로 추진선을 달게 추진선은 그렇고 이제 해외에서 에카스나 이런 걸 도입하는 선박에 운송선은 이제 또 별도로 개발 중.
So there is a sort of short-term plan to convert the Hyundai Motors hydrogen fuel cell for the smaller ships for nearshore transport, and next level is to make it for available for bigger ships, and also because there is a need for importing hydrogen from overseas, liquefied hydrogen shipping vessels are also in R&D stage for Korea.
Thank you very much.
그 네덜란드와도 이제 협력할 수 있는 그런 부분이 있으면 같이 협력을 할 수가 있을 것 같아요.
So for this, they are open for collaboration with the Netherlands for this R&D.
Thank you. That would be nice for a follow-up of this mission. The next question I have is from Jörg Giegler from TKI New Gas. Thank you very much for this interesting presentation. I have a question about the fuel cell trucks. The first ones of Hyundai are being shipped to Switzerland. What is the reason that they are not used on a large scale yet in Korea? I would expect that your domestic market would be served first, given your focus on mobility. So why is that? And is there maybe a lack of interest in Korea?
왜 수소 트럭을 한국이 아니고 스위스에서 먼저 이렇게 도입을 하는 왜냐면 한국이 워낙 모빌리티에 대해서는 앞서가고 있는데 한국 내 시장이 아직 없다고 보시는 거죠? 아니면 특정한 어떤 이유가 있는 거죠?
그 제안을 이제 스위스에서 먼저 제안을 했기 때문에 그렇습니다. 그러니까 현대자동차는 한국 기업이긴 하지만 그 시장을 보고 이제 개발을 해야 되기 때문에 스위스에서는 이제 먼저 그 대형 트럭에 대한 부분을 제안을 했고 그래서 먼저 이제 스위스에 가게 된 거예요. 당연히 한국이나 다른 나라에도 이제 그 판매가 될 겁니다. 근데 이제 스위스가 이제 먼저 한 거는 이제 제안을 했기 때문에 근데 한국에서도 지금 이제 일단 오톤 트럭 부분은 운행을 지금 실정을 하고 있는 거고 한국에서 대형 트럭에 대해서도 스위스에 가고 나면 내일쯤 실증이 들어가지 않을까.
스위스에 가는 트럭은 몇 톤?
스위스는 아마 15톤에서 20톤.
So the business proposal was firstly done from Switzerland. So that's why the first shipments of these hydrogen trucks were delivered to Switzerland rather than the Korean domestic market, because although the Hyundai Motors is a Korean company, they go after the customers' demand first. So the Switzerland customer actually demanded they put the order first. So that's why they're delivering to Switzerland first. And in Korea now they are working on 5-ton trucks and doing the feasibility study. And next year probably he's thinking that the Hyundai Motors can provide 15 to 20-ton trucks, just like Switzerland in Korea as well.
Thank you very much. We have some more questions. First one is from Quinton Swanborn from Hyatt. Thank you very much for the information. Does the investment plan consider budget allocations for hydrogen compression and storage, or is that part of the hydrogen technology innovation?
수소 그 압축이라든지 저장에 대해서도 별도의 그 정부 예산이 좀 알로케이션이 배정이 되어 있는지, 아니면 그게 전체적인 하이드로젠 뭐 충전소 이런 예산이 그냥 묶여 있는 건지, 별도 예산이 압축이나 저장 쪽이.
정부는 이제 우리나라 정부는 수소 관련해서는 육성 정책 중 지원 정책을 좀 쓰고 있습니다. 초창기는 워낙 이제 수소차나 아니면 특히나 수소 인프라 비용이 높기 때문에 인프라의 구축비를 지원을 했습니다. 그래서 이제 그 구축비나 운영비 이런 지원하는 정책을 쓰고 있습니다. 또 하나의 방법은 충전소 현재 그 R&D가 더 필요한, 특히 국산화나 아니면 그 압축기 뭐 이런 것들에 대해서 효율을 높여야 되는 그런 부분. 그 부분은 별도로 R&D로 진행하고 있다.
For hydrogen,
정부가 R&D 내에서 정부 3자 추진 또 진행
so for hydrogen storage and compression, this is mainly the infrastructure installation budget, and the Korean government is funding almost 50% for projects by matching from the government grant. And for compressor itself, the Korean government feels that it has to be, the efficiency has to be higher to become more commercially effective. So there are separate R&D funds to develop these hydrogen compressors.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
The next question.
Yeah, because the Dr. Kwon need to leave soon.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Have one more question, maybe.
Yeah, okay.
The final question.
Yeah, okay, sorry.
It's from Danny Bloom from Netstack. Are the power plants you mentioned, are they aimed for electrical output or also for the combined heat and power? And what are the main types of fuel cells used in these power plants, or are they also based on hydrogen combustion?
수소 연료전지 플랜트에 대한 계획을 그 기가와트 급으로 했는데 열 병합 쪽도 같이 이제 붙여서 로드맵에 있는 건지 그리고 연료전지의 그런 타입에 대해서는 전혀 지금 나와 있지는 않습니다. 엑소스에 그런 것들에 대해서 좀 별도 계획이 있는지.
연료전지 발전 관련해서는 아직 그 어떤 게 이제 종류가 여러 가지예요. PAFC도 있고, SOFC도 있고, PEM 타입도 있고, 여러 가지 이제 방향이 있는데, 아직 딱히 지금 현재 정해진 부분은 없습니다. 다 쓰고 있기 때문에. 그래서 지금 이제 아마 2022년까지는 이런 모든 종류의 그 연료전지 그 타입을 아마 다 실증을 해보고 난 다음에 중에 제일 효율이 높은 거로 하게 될 겁니다. 두 번째는 이제 그 연료전지 발전량을 이제 계속 늘리는 이유. 결국은 이제 친환경성으로 이제 우리가 환경 문제 때문에 전환해야 되는 부분이 있습니다. 그래서 그 한국은 이제 제조업 중심 국가이기 때문에 이 발전 부분에서 나오는 CO2를 감소시켜야 됩니다. 다른 나라에 비해서 좀 더 공격적으로 연료전지 부분에 목표를 좀 설정했고, 또 하나는 이제 저희들이 연료전지 운영은 거의 한 15년 이상을 해왔습니다. 다른 어느 나라보다 연료전지 운영 기술과 지금 세계 최대 또 연료전지 발전 플랜트를 가지고 있기 때문에 이 기술을 계속 이제 디벨롭을 해서 앞으로 다른 국가와 협력을 할 때 같이 이제 참여할 수 있게끔 하기 위해서 준비를 하고 있습니다. 열에 대한 열 활용은 이제 여러 가지가 아까 제일 그거는 정확하게 계획은 없습니다. 근데 연료전지 발전은 어차피 이제 PAFC나 PEM보다는 SOFC나 이런 것들을 사용하는 그 여론을 이용할 수가 있는 그런 장점이 있거든요. 이거는 별도로 이제 여론에 대한 부분에 대해서는 이제 활용을 하거나 아니면 좀 더 낮은 운전 효율을 갖고 있는 PAFC나 PEM이 유리하다면 그쪽으로 효율적으로 운영할 예정입니다. 그에 대해서는 그 상황에 맞게 아마 만들어질 것 같습니다. 단지 이제 그 액화 부분은 이제 여론이 있는 부분, 그러니까 LNG 인수기지라 이런 쪽에서 어차피 마이너스 150도 정도까지 이제 그 되게 있습니다. 그래서 그 부분 근처에 이제 액화를 하면서 냉각을 좀 같이 쓰는 방법을 지금 찾고 있거든요. 그러면 좀 더 어떤 효율적이기 때문에.
So for hydrogen, the plants, there is not a specific plan for using specific types of fuel cell. So he thinks that SOFC, PEM fuel cell, all these different types of fuel cell will compete each other until 2022, so that the people will notice that which one is really fitting to their situation. Because of the Korean economy structure, it's mainly focusing, it's heavily depending on the manufacturing industry. That's why the power generation with the low carbon emission is essential. And there is large demand for this sort of green electricity. And Korea has been working on this hydrogen power plant, the fuel cell power plant for over more than 15 years. So Korea has know-how, and also it has experience for operating these world-class fuel cell plants. So for this, they think that they can have more room for collaboration with the together with the foreign companies. For heat, there is no specific plan to use heat, but I think that it's case by case. So if the heat is really needed, and SOFC could be a solution. If not, heat is not become sort of not being used, then probably the low temperature fuel cells could be solutions for the certain applications. And there also he mentioned about these LNG terminals where you can find easily very low temperature heat. Then we can also use that as together with the fuel cell plant.
No fuel cells, liquid hydrogen, liquid production plant.
Liquid hydrogen production plant. Okay. So this is not for fuel cells. So for LNG terminal, using these low temperature put together to store hydrogen in liquidify hydrogen. Yeah.
And with this near to the hydrogen power generation is plant combined using by enough to hydrogen. 오케이. 그러면 제가 하나 제안 드리고 싶은 거는 나중에 더 필요한 거 있으면 필요한 사항들이 있으면 제 이메일하고 쪽으로 연락을 주시면은 저희들이 거기에 대해서 답변을 나중에 알려주십니다.
So he now needs to go to other place for appointment. So, but he will share his contact information through us, so that if you have any further questions, you can also answer through email or other conference call.
Thank you very much, Dr. Kwon, for joining us today and for your interesting presentation. And I think we are much wiser now about the hydrogen economy of Korea. And I think also much more interested to look into the opportunities that are there in Korea. So thank you very much for joining us today. And hopefully we will see you in the future in real life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now we'd like to wrap up this meeting, and Juwon shared some follow-up opportunities of events in Korea, and also together with the embassy, we are thinking about organizing a follow-up online mission that goes a bit deeper into opportunities for collaboration and specific topics that you might be interested in working together with Korean partners. Therefore, I'd like to ask you a few questions with Mentimeter. Let's see if I can share the screen. This one. I hope everyone can see my screen. So our first question would be if you would be interested in a follow-up online mission end of this year. And you can answer the question by going to menti.com. It's really easy and just fill in the code. During an online mission, we will organize sessions like these, but also a bit more interactive, maybe in a smaller setting, maybe some more specific matchmaking as well. And also, if you think, well, this year still would be a bit tight for me, maybe next year, we can also look into that. But I see that we have a lot of interest already for this year. We're looking into organizing it maybe in October. Maybe, yeah, a few sessions. So thank you for your answers. You can still answer a bit later if you need to think about it. This will be available for, I think, 3 more hours. I will go to the next question. What topics, if you would join a follow-up, what topics would you be most interested in for us to organize meetings or one-on-ones or sessions on? I see hydrogen storage, mobility, fuel cell power plants and emission-free shipping, safety, urban mobility, storage again, refueling stations, hydrogen generation through SMR, partnerships, current hydrogen projects for hydrogen distribution, compression. Well, these are quite a lot of topics. Thank you for telling us, and we will use this also to look into organizing the program if we're going to do that this year. Well, if you'd like to stay informed, easiest is if you leave your details. It will not show on screen. We will just get it, and we'll only use it for international cooperation on hydrogen. For this one, but maybe also for other opportunities in the future that we have. And yeah, because we know most of you, but perhaps we have someone in the virtual room that we have not spoken to yet. So that would be nice if you leave your details. And yes, if you have any other questions that pop up later, also about practical things, you can always send emails to innovatiemissies@rvo.nl, and I will receive that, or one of my colleagues at RVO will receive the email, so we can answer it. And maybe a general question for my colleagues in Korea. How about traveling to Korea at this point? Is it possible to go to Korea, and if not, how does it affect the business?
So policy here in Korea, probably some of you might know, but you can come to Korea, but you need to have visa to come, because the Korean government now has not lifted the policy on these entry control. So you need to apply for visa and to come as a short-term visitor. And upon your arrival, you need to be tested nearby the airport on the COVID-19 test, and then you need to stay 14 days self-isolation. So for business travelers, this is a lot of the obstacles. But if there is a specific reason to come without this 14 days isolation, it is possible to get this exemption. So only to get this COVID-19 testing and get the result, it usually takes about 6 hours to 12 hours. So the government provides the facility to stay for those hours to wait for the result. And then if your result is negative, then the people with this 14 days isolation exemption can be freely travel through Korea. But this exemption can be only done by the probably by approval of the ministry level. So and with the also the if there is a contract with the Korean company, I think it is possible. The Korean company can apply this to the Korean ministry. It is necessary that necessary to come visit to have these visit of this foreign national. I saw there were some couple of cases of this 14 days isolation exemption, so it is possible.
Okay. Well, I think for RVO, we are pretty sure that we won't be organizing a big physical mission anymore this year, but maybe for a follow-up later, we can see each other in real life.
Yeah.
And but for companies that have really pressing things they want to discuss, they can try to find a way to go. Yep. For now, I think that's it. We're looking forward to follow up all the opportunities we heard about today, together with the participants who are here. Thank you very much for your attention, for your questions, and hopefully we'll be in contact in the future if we talk about hydrogen and collaboration with Korea. And thank you also Juan and all the colleagues at the embassy for all your effort also last week at the Hydrogen Mobility and Energy Show. I think it was really good for us that you were there. So thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Yeah.
After this session.